Hello and welcome back to GMT's Gallipoli 1915 Churchill's Greatest Gamble historical Cape Helles landing scenario, and this is turn 3. And yeah, I've been reviewing what I've been doing here. There has been a little bit of messing about with the turn, the phase order, etc. Just getting used to things. So I think from this turn, just trying to stick pretty rigidly to the phasing from now on, if I can. I've got the wherewithal to do that. The other thing is I've missed a couple of bits out. Nothing amazingly major, but we'll need to add those bits in as well. Anyway, on with the turn. So first we have the reinforcement phase. So we have off map and on map reinforcements either placed or released. And yeah, so there's the release for the Ottomans is actually the coastal defence artillery on the map, which is now able to fire at land targets as it likes. Yeah, we've got the 6 artillery units. I think that'll be quite welcome, but no more infantry units available this turn. For the British landing, there's quite a bit more coming in. There is units coming in for X, V and W Beach. So troops will start pouring in now from this turn. So those have been placed. The next bit is the bit that I've actually been missing for the first couple of turns, is to draw a naval gunfire chit. So in addition to the initial bombardment, there's a set of chits which you pick randomly each turn that the allied player can use, and it's meant to be secret, and there's various options here. There's an opportunity fire, there's also a no fire, which nothing happens. There's also a commanded fire, so you can use naval gunfire with these chits. What happens is, of course, if you draw a non-fire chit, then you don't get any fire for that turn. However, if you do get one of the others, once you use the chit, you get to pick a new chit. And the idea is the Ottoman player doesn't know, what's going to happen with the naval gunfire. So, I'll pick the chit, but I'll just use it in the best way possible. I mean, the British are doing fairly well, so I don't think we missed too much on the first couple of turns, but I'll pick a chit now. And the chit is no fire, so we can just ignore the naval gunfire for the turn. And yeah, so we're bringing in at the end of the reinforcements phase, we have the amphibious reinforcement segment. So the at-sea reinforcements will come in as the original amphibious assault was on the boats, and there is coastal defence fire on those coming in, so we'll get those placed. So those are placed on the 3 beaches there. So incoming here, we have the remains of the Hampshires. That's 2 companies. 2 companies are still on River Clyde. These are the other 2 companies, and then we have a battalion of the 4th Worcesters and the HQ for 88th Brigade coming into V Beach. Up here we have the 1st Essex Battalion coming in from W, and here we have the first borderers with the 87th Brigade HQ. It's on the wrong side. And so the Rowing Sub-Segment is placing them, and now it's the Coastal Defence Artillery now. So they were suppressed last turn, the Coastal Defence Artillery, but they're available now. Now the Coastal Defence Artillery that's just on the right, the camera here, they're facing in the wrong direction. So they're in the gun pits here, which actually face this direction. So they're kind of fixed there, and they need to be manhandled out and to change their facing to help. However, these guys are available. And they have their arc, which covers V Beach but doesn't cover W and X. So we can get some fire here, but not on the other two beaches. So I'll go through that firing, and we'll see the results. Right, well, that resulted in one hit on one of the battalions of the 4th Worcesters. Rolled a 10 on that. On percentile dice, all the others passed. Passed the morale check, so no other effect on them. Although, of course, that's another V Beach loss of officer points, but they don't have any anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And yeah, that's the coastal defence. That's the naval fire sub-segment. So we're on to the supply phase, and supply. It's really only checked in the evening. It's only checked to bring units out of supply during other turns, so we can ignore the supply phase. And we're down to the command phase, which is firstly looking at isolated units. We don't have any isolated units, and I think everything's within messaging range of HQs, etc., or with the Turks there on their cordon defence, in which case they're never isolated doing that. And then we go to the adjust officer point segment, and I'll move over to the display, and we'll look at what happens to the officer points. One thing I did want to add is that just counting up, and it's just off camera, the dead pile here. There's now more. There's now 1 1/4 step losses on the Turks, so I'm going to take that as 2 officer point losses because it's a step loss there. But the officer point segment is about the actual regiments themselves, and we'll sort those officer points out as well. So not much change. The Y Beach loses an officer point naturally, so we've done that. And for the Turks, having lost that point, they do actually gain an officer point for cordon defence anyway, so that cancels out. So they're still on the full complement at the moment. So now we're on to the orders continuation segment. So I think I'll move the camera over there, and we'll look at that now. Right, so here we are, and looking at the continuations for the orders. We're going to get an automatic fail for V Beach and for S Beach. As they're on 0 officer points. So those 2 orders markers will switch to stalled attack. And Y Beach was on a stalled attack, will now degrade automatically to a disorganised defence. Just get that within view. There we go. Yeah, so stalled attack is an automatic failure and goes to disorganised defence. That means the attack's over as far as advancing goes for Y Beach. And So that's the automatic ones, and then we'll need to roll for the others. So this is X Beach and W Beach particularly. 26th Regiment, they can't actually fail their continue orders. They don't have a red number up here, so they don't need to roll, they will automatically continue. For X Beach, we look where they are on the list here, so X Beach is up here, and for X Beach there's a 70 to continue, and so I don't believe we got any dial modifiers here. It's well, you should add the flying column, which is a +5, and I'm not sure we have any other problems here. Yeah, so just the +5, and we'll roll that. A 0-1, definitely, definitely they're happy. And W Beach, they don't have to roll yet. So W Beach up here, they don't have a red number, so they don't have to roll anyway. So except for the automatics, all the others stay the same. Now there can be some change of orders if we want. Right, I've determined the only HQ that I think we would try and change orders on would be Y Beach. It's still got officer points up here, and it's currently in disorganised defence. So from disorganised defence, you can only go to a defence or a regroup action. I don't think regroup's any particular use here. So we're going to try and go for defence. Now, looking at Y Beach here on this column, is the black number, that's a 32. And to go from disorganised defence to defence is a -10 on the orders die-roll modifier. And as it's a flying column, there's a +5 as well. So it's a -5 on the dice, and we need a 32 or less. And 71, we don't get that, so Y Beach doesn't change its orders from disorganised defence. It's stuck where it is, and yeah, that will be just the only change orders we'll try and do. On the Turk side, the cordon defence is still vital for them, so there's no way we're going to change that for the moment. So after that, we have the load the cup segment, which is to put all the command chits in for the turn. So I've put all the beaches in, and we actually do have, do we not have another HQ on at the moment for the British? Not quite. We'll be landing 88th and 87th Brigade. I thought we had 86th somewhere. No, seemingly not. Okay, and yeah, those are loaded up and we're ready to go. There's no amphibious assault phase this turn because the beaches are taken, so we go straight to the normal activations. A couple of corrections here. I was right. There is 86th Brigade. It's actually at W Beach at the moment. It, however, doesn't have any officer points or anything as far as I can tell. But in fact, 88th Brigade, which does, actually does have a column here, and it could then begin to start making orders. The second thing is I forgot the landing stacking at V Beach, and so I put too many units in. If I just head over here so you can see what I mean. Apologies for the glare. Let's just try and get it out of shot. yeah, here it's only got a beach capacity of 3, so you can only land 3 steps at a time. And yeah, I'm going to have to slightly redo that because yeah, we've actually got six steps there. So I'll reorganise that and run the coastal defence fire again to just have the 3 steps coming in. So I'll just get that done. Right, we've just sorted out the glare there and stuff. So I've rerun this landing here. There were no hits, and we have Company C of the 2nd Hampshires and the right half battalion of the Worcesters with the machine gun and the HQ, because they don't count as steps, coming in. So I think the way I think I'll play this is the 88th Brigade starts according to the orders sheet here. We can focus in on here. Is under general. Doesn't want to focus for me. Oh, we go. 88th Brigade under general reserve. So it actually does have points, and so we'll land that brigade, and then we'll start moving units to that brigade, because V Beach HQ actually has none. Has no officer points and can't really do anything at the moment other than a disorganised defence. It's on stalled attack, but it can't do any assaults because that'll cost officer points. So that's the way we'll have to play it. Yeah, so we start assigning the 86th Brigade units to that. Now note that a lot of the V Beach units, for example, these Monster Fusiliers, etc., are not from 86th Brigade, which have the purple tinge on them on the top, and so therefore they're going to be a bit stuck until a lot more happens, or that V Beach starts to build up some points as well, and we get another order going for them. So they're really beach defence, I'm afraid, from now for a little period of time, and it's going to be over onto the 86th units, the Hampshires and the Worcesters, to actually prosecute anything further happening over at B Beach. Right, just having clarified all that, we can then do the command chits. So we'll need to add in the 86th into that, into the chit pool cup, and then we'll start with the initiative. Yeah, just as a supplement to that, the general reserve order will actually fail if units are under imminent threat. Imminent threat is the possibility of being fired upon. Either basically you're in infantry range, and so yeah, the general reserve order will fail when they land anyway. So there's going to be a lot of reorganisation with 88th Brigade anyway. So yeah, a bit of a messy turn here, I think, coming up. But let's get on with the initiative roll. So there's a -1 to the Turks because of the geographical control. The Turks win, and they again only have one counter to pick out, so there's no point in determining whether it's random or not, that pick. So it's the 26th Regiment that will go first. Right, on to the 26th Regiment. So first is an engineering sub-segment, which I think we don't think we really need to do. This unit, it would be nice to dig in, however they could come under fire. So if you come under fire and you get a morale check or something like that, then you'll fail to complete the construction. So yeah, I don't think that's a great idea. Over here there's a different matter though. They'll have to come out of hiding to do that, and then they'll be taking a long action during the turn. They can't do anything else, and they could come under fire again here, but they've got a little bit more defence, I think, and not so much as far as the combat goes. So yeah, I may consider doing an engineering work here to put in gun pits. Right, so this unit will come out of hiding as part of the engineering subsegment, and can receive fire from the machine gun unit here. So it's a half a point. I'll do that combat. After that, assuming everything's okay, then we'll do a long action and place the rifle pit construction marker on there, and yeah, we'll complete that a little bit. That'll be the engineering subsection segment, and then we'll get on to commanded fire. Okay, the fire wasn't effective, and they've started their long action. Now there is a big modification for doing an engineering long action. That's a -5 on the fire table. It'll take the turn and will flip over next turn, and yeah, I can't see that it actually causes an opportunity fire trigger. Right, next thing, I think I'll actually do another set of digging on this company as well. Yeah, I'll be digging for them, and I'll put that on, and that will complete the engineering subsegment. Right, with that complete, we're on to the commanded fire subsegment, and we're looking to open up with the Turks. Particularly now we have these coastal defence artillery units can add in as well using observed fire. There are their howitzers, they're the yellow fire factors, so they can do observed fire and be cooled down. Each of these gun pits has a telephone, and each of the fortification trenches have a telephone as well. Some of the others that aren't fire trenches are native telephones, so we can cool down quite a lot of artillery now, and also with the pom-pom gun as well, maybe onto X-Beach as well, and the pickets. So that will give us quite a volume of fire. So I'll run through those commanded fires, and we'll look at the results. Well, we've completed the commanded fire from the Turks, and not much happened. Just the one hit when we had the artillery cooled down onto V Beach at value of 4. There was +3 for the fire trench they're in, +6 for distance of the artillery, the worst distance, which is from there. +2 is its observed fire, so the pickets are providing the spotting. But there was a -4 for density because we had 4 units there, and the result was that it was a 6 going to a 13, but there was a roll of 0.4, and that was within the range of the 0.8, I think, on the 4 chart. So that was a loss. Morale check was okay, and we chose to lose the X company of the Royal Munster Fusiliers, and that'll can't really cut into V Beach anymore as far as officer points goes, but there we go. Everything else didn't really get close at all. The fire, other than the pickets now, with the defenders really in trenches, is very ineffective. We did also bring down artillery fire here, but to no effect. So that's commanded fire, and then we're on to the movement subsegment. So with the units all in objectives, there is you can in the rules for cordon defence actually move a picket to another objective, which I think might be a good idea. The particular one I'm thinking about is this chap here. He's just on top of the hill 114, hasn't actually got any fortifications with him. I'm thinking maybe to withdraw them up here to A Tepe, and yeah, get him in a defensive position, because I don't think he's going to survive an onslaught from here if one is so ordered from W Beach. So yeah, we'll move that now. As the units are moving, there's an opportunity fire from this hex, so that will be a two-factor fire on him. He is moving, and yeah, we'll get that sorted, that fire sorted. Right, that was a roll of a 9 with a 99 as a percentile, so I didn't even look it up. So that's not going to be a problem. And the unit moving across the military crest doesn't actually cost anything, so it's just the contour and open ground, which is 2 points, and then up and into the fire trench. So that I think is the best thing to do there. There isn't any other movement, so that's really the 26th Regiment done for this turn as an activation. So now we only have British units to actually activate, so there's no point in the initiative roll. It's just whether we get to pick the chit or whether it's randomly determined. So we'll do that several times, and yeah, we'll roll each time. We need a 2 or less. We need a 7, so it is random. So we'll randomly pick, and it is X Beach is the activation. Right, so in X Beach we have units to land, and then we also have units to move as well from the trench there. We still do have this gun on Overwatch, so a movement could trigger further fire from the pom-pom gun, and well, we're going to have to stomach it, I'm afraid. So we land, let me zoom in so we can see this a bit easier. Get a better focus and some more light. Yeah, that's better. So we move these units. We might actually move units out first. So the units that are in the X Beach hex, we need to move them. They are meant to be taking Hill 114, meeting up with W Beach, so they'll head in that direction. So they'll move to here, which will be an opportunity fire for these units. I don't think I'll fire the pom-pom gun, because I don't want to add, every time you fire the gun it adds +3 as a modifier. I'd rather meet these guys coming in, I think. So we'll let the infantry fire there, and I'll sort that out. Okay, so it was a 2 firepower factor with a -3 for moving, and it resulted in a morale check. It was a 28. It wasn't quite low enough to cause the casualty, but the roll was 85, so exceeded the morale. This means that the stack is confused and stops moving, so that's it for them. And we just have these guys to land, which will pop into that hex, and we'll get a opportunity fire from the pom-pom gun. And I suppose we could add in, no we can't, they're only rifles, so they've got 1 hex range, just the pom-pom gun coming in. Yeah, I'll sort that out. Okay, a very similar result. It's a 1 factor, and it was a +3 attack, and we got just enough for a morale check, and then the morale check was 83, so that stack is confused as well. Not a great result, but we'll take what we can get for the text. That means that's just about all we can do for X Beach. I will move these guys into the box, the X Beach box, and then we'll pick the next chit, or roll, to see what we do with the next chit. Okay, so that's done, and then the next chit, well, the roll for the next chit will do. That's a 0, so we do get to pick. I'm sure it's an amazing choice here, really. Yeah, I think possibly W Beach next. I think that's got the most scope to do things, so we will do W Beach. Right, so first thing we want to do is these guys here want to move an attack into there. So we did a commanded fire from here, which was an awful roll, a 9 followed by 99, so definitely no effect. Now we rolled for the close to assault to the 26, which is good enough. So these guys can move in, and we'll leave the machine gun behind, I think. Just these 2 guys moves in, and we get opportunity fire from the picket with that. We can do in the same hex, so that doubles his firepower. Now, this unit can also contribute. If it was here, it wouldn't be able to, so it can't fire through the backs, but as it's on an oblique hex, it can add in as well, so that would be 3/4 of a fire point there. And yeah, I'll just sort that out, and also remove the officer point from W Beach as well. Okay, so we've got consistent rolls here. We've got another failed morale check, so the units are confused. However, they still actually do get into the hex for the combat, and we'll put an assault marker on them for that. Now, from that, I think we can then move the Essex battalion in. Interesting to note that they're part of 88th Brigade, whose HQ is down here, just about to land. Now, it's part of W Beach for the moment, and but it will need to join its brigade only when the 2 main beaches are actually linked together. We have 86th Brigade here, which is quite happy with the green battalions, and note, of course, we have green battalions down on V Beach as well. So they're all intermingled, and intermingled is actually an orders modifier anyway. So once they're in their brigades, we'll need to sort them out before we can do anything. Otherwise, we'll suffer a penalty. But anyway, the Essex units, I think, will just land. There's nothing particularly in the orders for them to do, so I'm presuming they are in support. So I will put the in support marker there for that. And yeah, that's the commanded fire then movement segment. So now we can do the assault calculation. Okay, so we end up the 1 attacker point. The first is 0.25 defender. So attacker loses on 74 or more, defender on 77 or less. And we can roll that. We actually got a 0-1, so that's definitely a defender lost. so the picket's removed. In fact, I forgot to halve for the confusion, but with a roll like that, it's not going to make any difference. It would have been, 0.5 to 0.5 actually, but that roll would have sufficed. So yeah, that's that assault completed, and that's W Beach done. Okay, the roll for the next activation is to do it randomly, and we have the FC Alpha, which represents, I believe, Y Beach. That's right, I believe. Sorry, S Beach. So S Beach. This is the beach down here with these units, and it's in a stalled attack mode there. Units have half movement, and we can't do very much with them here. Nothing's in range. We could fire the machine gun across here. It's not going to be particularly effective, to be honest, but we might as well try. And then for movement, we need to stay within messaging range, and yeah, they're not going to be able to move very far. I think the possibility is that they stick where they are. That's the best defensive terrain, and they're not. Then it can get effectively can add 1 hex, because we'll need to leave a unit in the hex, possibly 2. We could try and assault this, but the units are quite weak. It's only 2 steps. It's only 1/2 battalion, so we might just fire off the machine gun, and that'll be it for S Beach, I'm afraid. So let's get on with that. Right. Yeah, and a roll of 6 going up to a 9. That's not going to get anywhere near to causing a morale check on a 62. So nothing much happens there, and that's S Beach. A little bit sad, I'm afraid, but there we go. Let's roll for the next activation. That's a 2, so we do get to pick. Now V Beach is on 0 officer points and is stalling on their attack. We have the 88th Brigade, which is just going to land as General Reserve and then fail next turn. So the other one we have is Y Beach. So Y Beach is in a disorganised defence. Can't really do much itself either. So we'll pick that one up. Why not? Let's have a look at Y Beach, which is up here. Let's readjust. Right, I think the only interesting thing we need to do there is to fire off our machine gun onto the digging in. We could do some digging in here, but a bit worried about being spotted, and then some artillery might be able to be called down. Possibly not, but I'm not sure if it's a huge amount of benefit anyway to start digging in right there. So I think units are stuck where they are, and we'll do that machine gun. We're on a -5 actually on the shot, so it's not that bad. But let's see how we go. It's an 8, so it's a -5 is only a 3. A 3 for half a point is 0.06. So we're in morale check range. Let's just see where we are. We have a 75 on the morale, and that I believe is all right. I'll just check the modifiers, but I don't think that's a failure. No, that's the unit's fine. So it didn't fail the morale checks, therefore it doesn't remove its engineering action. And that's about it for Y Beach. So roll again, although 88s and V Beach are pretty much the same spot. It's random. We get V Beach. V Beach is at 0 points and is an installed attack, so it can move half movement, but it's not going to be able to assault. What can we do there? Well, I'm not sure there is a lot we can do here. We could unload some more River Clyde units, but that's just going to add to the density of the stack, and with the coastal defence fire artillery coming down on that beach, I think that's a good idea. So we'll just do some commanded fire, I think, but we can't really move anywhere or do anything. So I'll sort out the commanded fire right now. Right, so that's actually a decent amount of fire here. So just focusing in here on V Beach. So what we have is we've got three companies here. Only 2 steps of infantry can fire out of a hex side. So for these 2, we'll be firing here, and we will fire 3 machine guns from the River Clyde. So that's a total of 5 coming into here. That's in a fire trench there, so it's a +4 in defence, and there's no density or anything like that. So it's on the 5 chart at a +4. So that's a 9, which is a 13. 13, even on something as high as 5, is only 0.1. This is a 51, so there's no effect. We'll do another fire out this side, so we can use the other machine guns from the Clyde, and we can use the other unit on the beach as well, the other company. So that's 3 + 1, 4. So that's 4. Again +4, because that unit is in fire trench as well. So 4 + 4 this time, as opposed to 5 + 4. We're on an 8, which gives us 0.16, but we're in 77, so no effect either. And I'm afraid that's kind of all we can do with V Beach, really, with no officer points. Nothing else to do. So that leaves us with 88th Brigade, so we'll take that out of the pot, and they're going to be landing, and we will get opportunity fire on them. So that's a stack of 3. So the density modifier of -1. They're on top of the fortifications as they land, so they're moving at a -3. So our 3/4 of a fire point surrounding here at a -3 and a -4, I believe. There is the other training there is a +1. Yeah, so that's a -3 all around. Barbed wire isn't there anymore. The barbed wire was cut by the initial landing when we took over the hex, so there's no hex side issues there. But we roll on the 0.75 with a -3. We got a 7 with a 29 behind it. A 7 comes to a 4 is 0.06, and a 29 is a morale check, and there is an 88. So yeah, there is a morale check fail, and these units are confused, and they'll need to be rallied. However, they are on the beach. The bad news is the density is going up and up and up. So the artillery fire next turn is going to be pretty horrible, and seeing as they're confused, rallying them is going to be an issue. And of course we have no no officer points for V Beach either. So not good news all round, but we are on land, and we do have units coming in, and that is the activation phase. So the only remaining things to do is to do the cleanup, which is to remove the fired markers from the artillery. So we can do all that, and replace our naval chit, and that's pretty much it. So right, that's turn 3. I think it's a little shorter than the others that have been so far, and been a little bit more comprehensive, and again the Allies are moving, but only just. Still, thanks for watching, and we'll be back for turn 4, which will be 10 AM to noon. Thanks for watching.